Before we start the show, just a word from our sponsor, Undeniable Press. For all your screen printing needs, located in the Corktown district of Detroit, Michigan. If you ever need any t-shirts or any other little promo accessories, posters, or whatnot printed up for you, go to Undeniable Press. They're located, once again, in the Corktown district of Detroit, Michigan, and you can reach them at facebook.com/undeniablepressdetroit. And those same guys who do Undeniable Press also have a clothing line called 20 by 20 Apparel. It's very much wrestling themed, all sorts of nostalgic themes in regards to the history of wrestling. And you can go check out their clothing line at 20x20apparel.com. That's the number 20x, the number 20apparel.com. Now let's start the show.
Fresh is the word.
I'm Jim Duggan, got long wood for plenty hoes. I keep it fresher than fresh, but you already know. You suckers bummy, I'm money, I got a ton of flows. My weed loud like a motherfucking thunder roll. Your shit quiet like you ballin' on a budget though. We see your kicks and we laugh and yellin' what are those. You see me shining like a suit on puffy. You know my grindin' shit is too strong, buddy. That's why the dude call money. I be stuntin' like it's nothing at all. Cause it's nothing to me, it's probably something to y'all. Trying to smoke like me, then come and fuck with your dog. Got a closet full of kicks, you can't cop it them all. And I'm fresher than the freshest, you can tell it's in my essence. Bitch, you see the way I'm rapping, yes I do this shit to death. Until I'm running out of breath, or tell somebody cut a check. But either way you know it's fresh, and either way you know it's fresh. Fresh, we fresh. Fresh, goddammit, we fresh.
Welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast, the podcast about music, pro wrestling, and MMA. I'm your host, K Fresh, and we've got a great show for you like always. But before we get into it, let me just remind you how you can support the podcast. You can always go to freshasthepodcast.com and just share any links that you see on the website and any of your social media. That would be great. There's also a link at the top that says support the podcast, and on that page there is a PayPal link that you can donate to. There's also an Amazon link that you can use anytime you want to make any purchases on Amazon. Use that link and it'll shoot some commission our way. Doesn't change anything on your end. Definitely help out the podcast. And also you can follow Fresh is the Word on Twitter and Instagram at Fresh is the Word 1. That's Fresh is the Word, then the number 1. And on Facebook at facebook.com/Fresh is the Podcast. And you can also follow us, subscribe us on a slew of platforms. iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Google Play, TuneIn. Just go to any of those websites, type in Fresh is the Word, and the podcast should come up. You can subscribe, follow, whatever the verbiage on the website is to follow us. And you can also rate us if you want, or leave some comments. That definitely help us out. 5 stars if it's applicable. That would be great. All right, so let's get on with the show. This week's guest is Schuylar Croom, the frontman for the North Carolina-based rock band He Is Legend. They have a new album out called Few, and they crowdfunded the recording and studio time and all that process of making the album. They reached out to their fans because they were without a label, and they wanted to do it different this time. So we talked about all the ins and outs of going into the whole crowdfunding, what they learned from it. And it was crazy. Like they actually went $15,000 over their goal. So they're, completely humbled by their fans, showing up and supporting them in such a huge manner for the making of their new album Few, which is really awesome. I really dig it. It's out now through Spine Farm Records. They stepped in and helped out with the marketing and the worldwide release of it, and we talk about that, because that was kind of a bump in the road in regards to putting out this album. And then, like always, afterwards, for the Fresh is the Word discussion portion of the show, the homie Vstylez steps in, and we talk about what's going on in the world of music, pro wrestling, and MMA. There's lots to talk about always. So before we get into that, let's get to the interview with Schuylar Croom from the band He Is Legend.
Hey, Kelly, how's it going?
Samo, how you doing?
Doing well. We're traveling right now in the RV heading to Dallas, Texas.
Cool. Yeah, you're currently on tour with and the Hot Like Sauce tour, Islander, To Speak with Wolves, and Bad Seed Rising. How's the tour been thus far?
It's been great, man. We're about a weekend, and all the bands are cool. The vibe's really cool. Yeah, it's just hitting it through the south. It's hot, like sauce.
Right, man. It's even hot up here in Michigan.
Yeah, it's hot in Michigan. Imagine Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. So you guys have a new album out that came out earlier this year called Few. What's been the reception thus far for it?
It's been rad. We we crowdfunded the project from the beginning, and it was a cool process to kind of involve our fans more, and pretty humbling to throw it on the table like that and just have the kids kind of take over and help us out. It's really changed the dynamic of the shows. Kids just seem like they are more, I don't know, it's more like a family affair. We're just kind of closer to everyone, and it's made the shows really cool and pretty intimate, But yeah, everybody seems to love it, and by now, kids are singing along and they know the words. It's cool to play some tunes at these shows and this run, and the reception's just been great.
Right. Why did you guys originally go through the crowdfunding process?
It was tedious, I think we kind of had a bunch of toss-up questions that were just weren't really sure whether or not it was the right way to go. We were off our record label, or kind of free agents at the moment, and I think it was more about proving it to ourselves, whether it was worth it or not. If our fans, we've always known it kind of had a cult following of kids that enjoy our band, but we just weighed out all the options, looked at other bands that had done the same thing, and kind of just made a pros and cons list or whatever, and picked the things that we liked and the things that we didn't like about other campaigns we had seen, and just try to be really practical about it and transparent. And we also worked hand in hand with other artisans that we knew personally, whether they were a jewelry maker or a clothing designer, or one dude made an action figure. So it was just kind of keeping our fans in the loop, utilizing fans' talents that we admired, and kind of promoting other people too, just kind of sharing the love. It ended up being a really, really difficult task, but also it was really cool to kind of just let people know that we were the ones doing it. We were the ones. Once we hit our limit and we saw that we were going to be able to make the record. It's okay, now we got to get all this done, and it's different. You kind of see it from a record label's perspective. You see it from a band's perspective. Yeah. Just having to, where it all goes, where all the money goes, and how quickly it goes. We spent almost all of it in a matter of a week. Right. Just because we had everything lined up to go. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. The only real speed bumps that came out of it was just not knowing how to secure a worldwide release date, and that's where our friends and Fine Farm stepped in, and they kind of offered us to help us market it and put it out there, which was going to be the most daunting of all the little tasks that we had at hand, was trying to figure out how to get it in stores overseas and record stores, little boutique stores and whatnot. So, everything worked out well.
What was one of the main things that you learned sort of in the investigative process of doing the crowdfunding?
just it seemed to us that, you know, you hear these stories about record labels and whatnot just kind of going by the wayside, and this giant change in the music industry, and it's not unlike, I mean, I guess doing research, we kind of wanted to try to adapt to like the hip hop model, you know, where people got mixtapes out of the blue. And I think they do that, and you know, like dropping albums without mentioning it before, you know, kind of in the middle of the night,
right?
Because I think they do that because their fans are so in tune with them, and like, you know, community is there's like an open line of dialogue, and for us, I think, you know, I don't think it really works that way with a rock band, but I think that one thing that you can take from that model is that, you know, if you do have an open line of dialogue with your fans and you give them the opportunity to help, they're more than willing to like stick their necks out for you, you know, and
yeah,
we've been a band for a long time, and it's you know, the people that have been there since the beginning and followed our career, like, you know, they're the ones that are helping us out along the way and like really going to bat for us. So I think that's kind of a similar model, I guess, business model, just to like, you know, have an open line of dialogue with your fans and keep them in the loop, rather than, you know, we kind of were a band of built off of Mystique for a while, you know.
Right.
So this kind of makes it a little different and a little more intimate for our fans on this album cycle, and we've really embraced that, you know, that kind of coming out of the woodwork with that. It's nice to see and have, you know, we started a street team not too long ago, like a 90s style street team. So.
Right.
So we're like, you know, like kids are wearing these He Is Legend back patches that are like, you know, color coded for street team, and helping us throw like, you know, wheat paste flyers up and stuff. It's cool because we basically, you can run that off of a newsletter the way you would have probably done right when the internet started. So it's a cool thing, I think, you know, trying to get back to this roots of, you know, the way we used to flyer for shows when we were in high school, you know, spending all day in the library cutting out medical journals and stuff. It's neat.
Right. Yeah, I see that you guys raised, you know, over $15,000 more than your goal was. You know, how did that feel that everybody came out and supported you guys like that?
It was amazing. I mean, you know, it's amazing and very humbling, you know, to know that your fans went above and beyond, and that they kind of had enough faith in us to say, like, yes, go make a record, and we know, you know, we trust that that you'll do a good job. You know, I mean, it made it the most important record that we've ever done, and it made it, you know, it gave us a lot more creative control and artistic liberties when we got in the studio, because we were on our own, and we were, you know, given ample amount of time to produce and you know, spend a little more time working on it than when you would normally have a deadline for a record label, or, you know, somebody asking you every, you know, week for dailies and stuff. So it was just nice, you know. I mean, it kind of cut out the middleman, and I think that's what we've been doing a lot lately, is, you know, kind of trying to keep our team a positive team, and you know, we have a strict no assholes policy, you know.
That's awesome.
It's important, I think, you know. I think it's like, I think Woody Allen has that same policy on set, you know, like he's the only one that's allowed to be an asshole. So, yeah, we just, you know, that's very important. I think it shows to our fans. They know that too, you know?
Right. Going into, you know, now that you have this budget, you raised this money, you know, going into making Few, you know, what was sort of the mind state of everybody in the band when now you're figuring out what you're going to write? what you're gonna do with this album. Now that you have sort of this freedom with it all.
Well, we pretty much had it all written beforehand. Our recording process has never changed.
Okay.
But there were certain aspects that when we both hit the goal, and we had studio time booked, and so we knew we were gonna one way or the other go into the studios. I think the mindset was just there was a lot of tension released because we could take our time, and we could like just take care of every little aspect, of what we wanted to do, So I think it just gave us a lot of liberties, and that kind of obviously was freeing, and just having that freedom in the studio is something else,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think time and stress was one of the main things that we were relieved of when all was said and done with that. And we, got in the studio and got out to the cabin. We tried to create a vibe. It was wintertime, so it was just an interesting time of our lives to see all that come to fruition.
Right. How did kind of going through this process, this experience with crowdfunding this album, sort of make this band better for just for the future things that you're gonna do?
Yeah, it definitely changed the dynamic of our relationship with our fans, which ultimately carry over into the live setting and being on tour. It brought us closer to our fans, and ultimately, I think our fans have been taking very good care of us through this whole thing, and also just it was humbling. I mean, you had to kind of not lower yourself. I don't like that sound like we had to do something that we didn't want to do, but we had to basically bow to our fans and say it was time to make a record, and we didn't want to go backwards from the previous record, Heavy Fruit, so we essentially took that budget from every dollar amount that it took to make that record and put it on paper for the people involved with the crowdfunding to see where that money went and where it all has to go at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, it gave us, I think it made us a better band in so many more aspects than one, but our work ethic grew, our we're very good friends, all of us. We have a really good rapport with each other, and it's definitely a morale booster to have something like that happen when you have a all or nothing clause where it could have very well just went the opposite way, and we could have been $1 off and not made a dime off of the project. So
right.
it just kind of brings that. I mean, I don't think the record labels are dead or any of that stuff, and I don't even know if I would necessarily choose crowdfunding again, but I think it was a smart move on our account and at that moment in time because of the state of things and how our band was working and just everything, the stars aligned for that particular, for that album cycle. And I think we made the right decision. So that was for that. Yeah, I think that was good. I don't know. Again, I don't know if that would be something I would do over, but yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was very, very rewarding.
Right. Before you even came up with the idea of even researching the crowdfunding idea, what were you thinking about what was going to, happen next with the band? Were you worried that you might not have a way of putting out another record?
Yeah, well, I mean, we were not necessarily worried. We were just more concerned about we just didn't want to go down the same roads that we had gone down before. You know, like this, it needed to be a different process. You know, and mainly it was to prove it to ourselves that we could do it. You know, I mean, we could have easily gotten on another label or signed another, you know, renegotiated our old contract. It was more about us trying to find our way, you know, in a different way than normal. You know, like here's a month to write, here's a month to record, here's a month to get back on the road. You know, we just wanted to do it ourselves. So that brought out the whole, how are we going to do it? Where's it going to go? What are we, you know, what happens next is kind of why we started researching crowdfunding and then, you know, just in looking at other bands and seeing how they did it and what they did that we liked and what they did that we didn't like, and, you know, what seemed like a good idea or something that would excite a fan. Like what would excite me if my favorite band was doing a crowdfunding site. You know, there was a lot that went into it, and then lining up all of the perks was, you know, it was just like, it was a full-time job trying to get everything in order and, you know, produce and then recording and making the record and, you know, lining up artwork and talking to, you know, the label when it came time to do that and all that. You know, it was a very fun process, but it was all the stuff that we knew we were signing up for, you know.
Right. Now,
and then the tiny speed bumps that happen when you're like, how does one get a record into a, you know, boutique record store in Beijing? You know, like, I mean, and those are things that you're just like, you kind of throw your hands up at the end of the day and you're like, we do need some help, you know, some assistance. And I don't think any of us are ashamed to say that. We're stoked to be working with Spine Farm now. I think that, you know, without what we did with this crowdfunding, that would have probably never happened. So,
right. He is legend. You know, this was a band formed in 2003, but you know, you guys were playing music before that even started. But when you look back in those early years, you know, what really sticks out during that time of playing with those guys and then forming this band?
I mean, that's a loaded question, kind of. Just because it's been since high school, you know. I mean, me and Matt and Adam have been playing together for so long now. Like, this is what sticks out, you know. Like, these sitting in traffic in Dallas right now, just like listening to Seven Dust or Korn or something, like listening to new metal and feeling nostalgic. And I mean, those are the things that's 75% of our day on tour, you know, is this travel, and you kind of have to be cut out for it. And we've been doing it for so long together. It's majority of our memories is this road, you know, like this looping snake of a road that we've been on so many times. You know, there's little things. There's never like there's no brilliant tour stories or you know, like no crazy incidents or whatever. I mean, the things that are the craziest things are the things that we probably either wouldn't tell or would be boring if we did, you know. We have a lot of fun, and we still love each other and get along really well. So I think that's, looking back on it, I mean, you know, you catch these little glimpses of yourself as a young man doing it for the first time, I guess. But then, you know, you come back to basics, and like, you know, we played Austin last night. It's one of our favorite cities, always has been.
Yeah.
And you have a, you know, killer show, and you see a bunch of people that you haven't seen in years. You reminisce, you know, have a few drinks and laughs and get on the road and go do it in another town. That's why we do this. It's for that amount of camaraderie and just, you know, it's not for everybody, I guess, but, you know, rockers on the road hanging out with other rockers, you know.
Right.
Talks.
Yeah, I think the first time that I ever came across He Is Legend was with your 2006 album Suck Out the Poison, just based off a friend
Yeah.
recommendation. Kind of looking back at that time, what kind of sticks out in regards to making that album?
That was our second record, or second, not major, but like our second real release, and that was definitely a kind of trying situation because we were on a record label that wasn't exactly, we weren't seeing eye to eye with, and we had we flew across the country to make the record, and I think that was why it was one of the reasons why now we have our home base and we love recording there, and I think it was one of those things that the record label wants you to go with somebody who has a name or whatever, and we wanted to go with one person, they wanted to go with another person, and we ended up over in LA, and just a lot of stress factors of just random things that as young men we didn't know how to really process or handle those situations at the time, but we made do and made a record. And a lot of people love that album. I know that's a lot of people's favorite He Is Legend record, which it's pretty interesting to hear. I listen to that record and I hear, just our coming of age story throughout the whole thing. We were on tour for pretty much 2 years straight, and then went straight into a writing session, and then flew out west to record for a month and a half or so. So, yeah, it was a high stress. That's going back to what I was saying before of why when we finally were settling down in the studio to start tracking, having that stress level down is, that's so important. But yeah, it's also reminiscent of just why being in a foreign place where you don't feel comfortable. You get it. It's kind of a hang up, I guess.
Right.
Not that I wouldn't want to. Now I see things a lot differently, and I just we know where we produce the best sound. There are places we would love to record just because of where they are, people we would love to work with. But if we're left to our own devices, then we've done the last 3 records at Warrior Sound in North Carolina because we know we feel comfortable there, and we know what sounds we get. We make good He Is Legend records there. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Yeah, you guys have always sort of poked around to all sorts of different styles of heavy music and toured with all sorts of different types of bands. Why has it always been important to sort of keep that sense of variety around the band?
I think that's personal preference, I guess, because we are, in this band, for sure, we all have very diverse tastes and influences, but it's also to kind of curb the minutia of being on, heavy metal tour after heavy metal tour, and those. I feel like you go on those tours, and then the music that they play in between a heavy metal bands is heavy, and that's not who we are as people. I would say He Is Legend is more of a rock and roll band than anything, and that's kind of what we define ourselves as. And that's an all-encompassing, very broad umbrella, but I think that keeps us open to being able to go out with bands like that, and we also, you want to be playing with people that inspire you and have that around you, that energy around you. It should be fun, it should be like a cool match. So, and that's how music used to be all the time. It wasn't these pre-packaged pretty tours. It was like, you know, you would see bands playing together because they were friends, you know, they were on tour because they were homies, you know. That should happen more often, I think, in this this day and age of rock and roll. But yeah, we've always tried to keep things diverse, and musically on our records, I mean, it just comes out of the fact that we do make music that kind of is eclectic, so we're allowed to experiment with other sounds, and I think our fans always expect something like that to happen on each record.
Right, and like on the current tour, like the Hot Like Sauce tour, all the opening bands that are, you know, you've been the one that's been around longer, but then you got some like the more younger bands on the tour with you. You know, how important is it to like kind of bring along some of like these younger bands on these sort of tours that you're going on now?
I think it's, you know, it's more to kind of lead the way, I guess, you know, and help show people that it's not, you know, there's not just a bunch of just shitty dudes on tour, you know, like some people can be nice and cordial and have a good time, and this all should be fun. And I hope that these bands that are a little younger and just starting out and still, you know, as my grandmother would say, wet behind the ears, you know, like you gotta show them that they're, it's just it's not all, you know, shouldn't all be business, and you should be having a good time and giving it your all and really relishing and remembering these times, I guess. These bands are going to be on tour regardless, you know. That's what you do when you have the bug. And they're going to be on the road, you know. I mean, and we're glad to have them and watch these younger bands like kind of just like grow within a 5-week tour, you know, watching them learn and you know, doing their thing. I mean, these some of these kids are very young, you know, and it's inspiring to see a band, you know, with really young members that are like, you know, so stoked to be playing and rocking, and they you know, we're just watching them do their thing the way we did, and you know, we got our feet wet with bands like Killswitch Engaged and Story of the Year, and you know, they're just kind of doing the same thing, teaching us the way, and you know, ribbing us a little bit for being, you know, young punks. So yeah, it's cool, man. I think I don't know necessarily if it matters at this day and age, like, you know, age-wise for a stage or for a fan to see. I don't think that the fans really care one way or another how young or old the band is. That's the beauty of music. Like, these kids want to see music, you know. I don't care who's playing it. So I mean, it's cool to see these. I mean, we've got friends we've had for a long time, and we've got friends that we've just made on this tour. So it's cool.
Cool. All right, Schuylar, it's been great talking with you, man. Good luck with everything. If anybody wants to find out more information about He Is Legend online, where should they go?
We're pretty heavy on our social media, on our Instagram, and our Twitter and Facebook. I think they're all at He Is Legend NC, as in North Carolina. And our website is heislegendnc.com. So all of those can be found there. And we're heavy on Instagram on the road. You know, we're updating every day. So you can stay with us and see where we're going. Some cool live shots.
Awesome. All right, cool, man. It's been great talking with you. I'm going to try to make it up to the show in Flint, Michigan next month.
Oh, nice.
Definitely come say hi to you.
Yeah, definitely. Cool,
man.
Well, we'll see you then, man.
All right, man. Good luck on tour.
Thanks, dude.
All right, later. So that was my interview with Schuylar Croom from He Is Legend. Go pick up that new album, Few, right now. It's out, and it's really dope. And now on to the Fresh is the Word discussion segment of the show. Like always, I'm joined with my co-host, Detroit hip-hop artist, pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing connoisseur and guru,
Yes!
and proud Marine, Vstylez.
Oh,
What's up, bro?
what up, y'all? Hey, what's good, K-Fresh? You all right, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Yo, the thing was, like, when I was thinking about what we're going to talk about this week, I was like, all right, the big thing in our world that we talk about this week is going to be UFC 214. But that changed tonight. No, we'll talk about that in a minute, but that changed tonight because on Smackdown, just before we're recording this, the return of the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Chris Jericho, and that was a legitimate surprise. Like, the internet didn't ruin that.
Man.
It was a legit surprise.
Yeah, look, completely caught me off guard. When I heard the music, I smiled like, is it? And to see him come back, it instantly brought more energy, brought more interest, brought back the shit that you love about, wrestling. Chris Jericho has mastered the art of doing it without doing it. No homo.
Right.
But he's all he has to do is just show the fuck up, and it turns into something else, man. So I am extremely happy, even though in taking an L tonight, it doesn't matter because it was against AJ Styles. Everybody takes the L to AJ Styles every now and then.
Yeah, and AJ Styles is back to being the U.S. champ after he lost the belt this past weekend back to Kevin Owens, and then they had the triple threat tonight with Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, and Chris Jericho, and AJ Styles pulled out the victory to win the belt back, and then automatically Kevin Owens invoked his rematch clause. So next week we're gonna have AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens again. So, like, I feel like tonight SmackDown redeemed themselves from, like, weeks and weeks of some lackluster programming. There's been some lackluster programming for the past few weeks or so. So, like, tonight, I think they redeemed themselves a little bit.
Instantly.
Yeah.
My boy showing back up. Look, the most important part about that segment is not necessarily, and I love AJ Styles, that's my guy, I rock with him, but the most important part of that whole segment, including the match, is AJ Styles made the fucking list. That's the shit that I'm talking about right there, damn it. Instant credibility. SmackDown is back to me at SmackDown now that my boy is home. Let's just take it in, man. Take it in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude! It was every line that he delivered tonight was just gold and just brought us back to the good old days. And I smiled, I laughed.
Just like riding a bike. Just sit back and enjoy it.
Just sit back. I was laughing so hard, man. But then also, tonight they announced that next week it's going to be John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and the winner goes against Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. So, look, I'm happy. Okay, if either Nakamura or Cena can beat Jinder Mahal, then I'll be happy with that. Either one. But odds on that it's going to be probably Cena that goes through and then wins his umpteenth title, 16th title, or 17th, or whatever. It's probably...
Here we go again, man. Here we fucking go again with this, man.
It's gonna.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is, but yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him breaking that record of that he shared with Ric Flair. I think John Cena is good for wrestling.
Yeah,
he's
he
just
is.
not my favorite guy.
Right.
I
me
love
neither.
the fact that my son loves him and stuff like that. But the John Cena I rock with was the John Cena that used to come down to the ring and freestyle with. So seeing him now and he's basically still the same character with more geared toward kids. I support that, but it's the same old shit. I would like Shinsuke Nakamura to possibly beat him and then go and beat Jinder Mahal to set up him and AJ Styles at WrestleMania next year. That's what it all will go.
Yeah, that would be kind of cooler because when I look at it, unless John Cena is looking to step away from wrestling full time soon or forever, like I don't know if he should break Ric Flair's record by beating Jinder Mahal.
Oh, look, we can see this too. I can see John Cena winning, and then Baron Corbin cashing in his shit to, shock the world.
Right.
And, now I wouldn't mind that. And then you get him like a couple month title run to the Royal Rumble when Shinsuke will ultimately defeat him again. And then you have Shinsuke going into WrestleMania as champion to ultimately face AJ Styles, which is our dream match. So, yeah, they can play this real good with a couple options, but just as long as it leads to AJ and Nakamura rocking out WrestleMania next year.
Oh man, that's the match everybody wants. That's the dream match. We want to see the Wrestle Kingdom rematch. Nakamura, AJ Styles.
I want to see all that shit.
Yeah,
I can't front.
But I want to see it at the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Let them go, man. Let them cook, man.
Let them cook. Let them boys cook.
Yeah, let them cook, man. Yeah, you said you didn't watch Raw this week. Really, not much change. There's kind of a lot of the same stuff that we expecting. They announced that it's going to be a fatal 4-way at SummerSlam for the Universal belts with Roman, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman against Brock Lesnar. But they're going to have a triple threat match next Monday with Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman threw a security guard over the top rope about 30 feet down the entranceway, and that was hilarious. And they further teased they also further teased the Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor feud that they keep on teasing for the past few months. So hopefully that comes to fruition and we see the Demon versus the Eater of All Worlds sometime soon.
That would be dope.
Yeah, it'd be dope. And they keep on teasing it. Like Bray Wyatt keeps on coming out and interfering in Finn Balor's matches, but then they never go anywhere with it. So hopefully it's for something. Oh, also the big news too. The big news coming from Raw. Bayley beat Sasha Banks in their match. So at SummerSlam, it's going to be Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. So that means...
Oh, my fucking God.
So that means me and our boy King Mo are going to be beefing for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, my fucking God, y'all can have. I'm sorry, I don't mean because, but yeah, y'all can have that, man. I ain't. Oh my God.
Oh, we already started on the text messages like right after that shit happened.
I can't. Yeah, I've seen that. I can't even. Like, get the fuck out of here. Really, that happened? Oh man.
Yeah, SummerSlam. It's gonna be
Whoa.
Alexa Bliss defending her Raw Women's title versus Bayley. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Oh, fucking amazing.
But
It's
yeah.
almost like I want to be like again. A fucking again.
Yeah. Again.
Really?
Again.
Really? Is this what we get treated to? Again?
Yep.
Oh, this is great. This is fucking great.
We give Bayley another opportunity.
Oh, man. Both of them motherfuckers, man. It's, they're on the grandest stage. We got to see them. Like, I hate Bayley's. You know, when I hear her music, I get mad. And you know, soon I hear her music, I think I get mad, like, instantly. Like, her music has the most mad effect with me. Like, when I hear it, you know, there's certain shit you hear, and you just get mad. Hers is number one. Like, when I hear her shit, and then you got to look at the little pop-up little punk-ass dial to be on each side, be blowing in the air, waving it. Oh, that shit is just a horrible experience, man. It's just female John Cena all day. You know, fuck a hug, fuck all that shit, man. Yeah, I ain't feeling her at all, not one bit. Makeover, anybody, makeover, anybody. Yeah, if anybody needs one, she needs one. Please, let's do something. Fucking, if John Cena is fucking Fruity Pebbles, she's Tricks. So it's the same scope, you know, same fucking scope. So I hate even saying this. If I have to even pick anybody in this fucking horrific matchup, because I don't like the girls that she's wrestling either. Alexa Bliss.
Hey, that's the goddess of
my
WWE.
God, man. She makes me throw up in my
Team
fucking
Alexa
mouth. Like,
right
when
here.
I see her,
Team Alexa right here.
I don't know, you know, but I just know how I feel. I feel that she's been shoved down our throats too quick, and you know,
nah.
She don't do it. Shit, that's your girl. I get it. I can't fuck with her. I can't fuck with neither one of them, man. In fact, this is my decision. If I had to pick anybody, Bruce is Millions. None of the above. I don't want none of them motherfuckers. You know. Then to top it off, you got a very lackluster SummerSlam women's champion. What's her fucking name? The Usos.
Naomi.
Naomi.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what have you done to my precious belt? The fuck have you done to my precious belt? You don't put lights on that bitch.
She made it glow. She's making it glow. Making it glow.
Yeah, but that's... Oh my God, man! Oh man, that intro was cute the first week. Now I'm mad at every week we get the same shit. You know, and oh my God, horrible, man. But
she's going against Natty
on the
first.
Same level.
She's going against.
Shit is on the same level. Look, her shit is on the same level what John Cena did with the U.S. belt when he made that, and the world title belt when he made that motherfucker spin.
Make it spin.
Leave my world titles alone, man. You know, it's bad enough we got horrible designs and all the belts fucking look alike, which takes the fucking prestige away because now you're looking at all the same fucking belts with different colors and color schemes. Shit blows, man. Might as well bring the world championship belt back, man. Where's the originality? Like, there's no fucking original, but you wanted to get original and put lights on that bitch. No.
Some lights on that bitch.
Then you got the best woman wrestler in the WWE with Charlotte Flair putting motherfuckers over like what's Jim Neidhart's daughter name?
Natty. Natalia.
What's her name?
Natalia.
Motherfucking Natalia.
Yeah, she won. She's gonna be facing Naomi at SummerSlam for the Smackdown women's belt. Like, I really wasn't seeing that coming. Like, I'm like, oh, all right.
You know what makes it worse? You know what fucking makes it worse? Is that she uses her uncle's catchphrase.
Like, but she makes it a part of, like, she keeps on using it, but then she keeps on saying that Charlotte is doing that, like living off her father's thing when she does it herself, you know. And she does it even worse. That's a part of her gimmick.
I would disagree. I would say that her being Ric Flair's daughter, motherfuckers are naturally going to be like, woo!
Right.
They're going to do that because she is Charlotte Flair. So I don't think that has anything to do with her, but I just think that's the respect that the fans pay. So she's playing off that. I totally get that. And you can honestly say she's taking that and made it hers.
Oh, yeah, it's totally.
That alive. And she's earned the right to do that with being a multiple champion several times. She's the best female wrestler that's walking the planet Earth right now. So it's the difference when you talk about living off, like David never proved himself. Charlotte proved herself.
Yeah, now she's like on women's mid-card status on SmackDown. Like,
yeah, that makes no sense. That's the same. That type shit is the same type shit I'd be mad about what they be doing to AJ Styles. These are your best wrestlers. So you're gonna. And
at one time, when she was on Raw, she was arguably the best heel in the company, man or woman.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
The heat she got every week was just incredible compared to, the dudes. And she plays a better heel than she does a face. Yeah. But even playing a face, she still is the best female wrestler in the place. So, I don't really get what they doing to her. To me, it's a smack in the face to see Rusev's wife even wrestling.
Yeah, I hate that. It's just like she was okay. She was the best when they first came to the main roster, and she was like the ice cold Russian, valet that used to talk about Vladimir Putin and stuff like that, and how the American, bow down, the Americans sucked and everything. Like, that was her best time. Since coming up.
Now you gonna have her wrestling?
Now we're gonna have her wrestling, and she's wearing gear that looks like some 1980s women's wrestling attire, and
my God.
it's not even fun, man. I'm like, it's just.
You go add her to the fucking mix, and then you got Naomi, who I do think is the best athlete, and on the women's roster in SmackDown, but. If the only thing that can get her over is dancing, come on, man. Only thing we've walked that shit before. You got to dance, motherfucking Naomi. Can't think of nothing else better to do but to dance and shuffle, and after that, what's left of you? Nothing. Work on your craft, man. You got a couple of good moves, and I'm not saying you're not worthy of the title, but you have a lot of potential, and I think the ceiling's high, and I think you limit yourself to just dancing.
And I'm gonna say this right now, man. They on the main roster, either the powers that be need to figure some shit out with these women, or the women themselves got to figure some shit out. Because guess what? They've already taped the Mae Young Classic, and there's a lot of hungry women that were in that Mae Young Classic that got some true talent there's people but on their their heels right now, trying to get them spots on the main roster. You got women in NXT right now that very soon could fill those shoes in on the main roster women's spots and possibly do a lot better. There's a lot of people on them heels right now, so some of them women on the main roster need to figure some shit out,
Did you see Shayna? What's her name? Baszler.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to start.
Dude,
okay.
She's
what you think of her as a wrestler?
She's actually really good in the ring. Because I saw her out in Chicago a couple weeks ago when I went to see Shimmer. She was a part of that event, and she can work really well in the ring. She's done time in many of the indies here in the States. She's gone over to Japan for a bunch of tours over there and worked with those women over there. So she's been able to adapt with both of those styles, the strong style over in Japan, the stuff they do here in the States, and all kind of work in her MMA background and it all. And she knows how to move within the ring and make it look like a fight, because she comes from a fighting background. So she really is really good in the ring.
You know what I don't like, man? Let me tell you what I don't like.
What's that?
She's over. First off, anybody that fights, you got to show love to.
Yeah.
So I won't clown on the aspect of being a fighter, but I think she was highly overranked in mixed martial arts, and only because she was a friend of Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, and she ended up shitting the bed in the UFC.
Exactly. I still think it's disrespectful to call yourself 4 horsewoman. It's like women always gotta, not all women, but you don't have to live off the men. Create your own shit. I don't think the Fabulous Moolah did that shit. Arguably, you could compare her to Gorgeous George back in the day, but
right.
All these, you don't need to piggyback off certain shit. Create your own legacy. That's the thing that bothers me. But that's why it's hard for me to root for Natalya, because it's like, damn,
she's using everything from her family.
Every fucking thing,
everything.
Man.
There's not anything original about it,
Yeah, that's it. You don't hear Jimmy Superfly Snooker daughter talking about she's Jimmy Superfly daughter every week. She don't even bring that shit up. She just come out there and do her fucking thing. So
right.
Build your own legacies, man. But back to Baszler, it's like when she smiled, her whole mouth game is like her teeth is like fighting for position. It shouldn't be like that, girl. Fix yourself up, girl. Get some break. You can go get some braces. Go do something, man.
But I think with her, she's found it, to be more comfortable in the wrestling world than in MMA world. She might have been gassed up a little bit too much, and the expectations were a little bit too high. So when she when she shit the bed in UFC, you know how MMA fans are, man. They ruthless on people, man. And
oh yeah, I was ruthless on her then. Ain't shit changed. I haven't seen her wrestle yet,
but
so I don't want to shit on her.
She's good in the ring, man.
But I do.
She's good. She's good in the ring, man. She can. She's a good worker in these wrestling matches, in the ring. It's actually really.
She's a heel. She's a heel, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Yeah, she usually
looks like a heel. She can
usually
be a fucking villain all day. Certain people just got a villain appeal to her, and when I look at her, ain't nothing to cheer about. It's boo. No diss, but that's just the appearance that she gives me.
Yeah, in Shimmer, she's a part of this faction with Mercedes Martinez and Nicole Savoy, and those two were also in the Mae Young Classic, and they called themselves Trifecta. And they're actually really hilarious as heels because they're like super obnoxious heels. And they're actually really funny though when it comes out to it. But no, she can she knows her way around the ring, and like she can do that sort of the strong style that they do in Japan, and but do like she has variety in her ring work. I from the stuff that I've seen, she's pretty good, and she can definitely continue to get better with it, I think.
I want to see my boy Matt Riddle win.
He's doing.
I want to see him win.
He's doing really great on the indies, man. He's making a nice career out of himself, like in the indie wrestling.
Making more bread than he ever was in UFC.
Oh, probably by far, And there was they seen him recently talking with one of the head bookers for New Japan. So I don't know, maybe we see Matt Riddle in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but we'll see with that, And New Japan right now is in the middle of their G1 Climax round robin tournament, and dude, like, it's every night is so awesome. Like, it's kind of an undertaking to watch because it's 19 nights in total, and they do them almost every night. They do take a night off every couple of nights, but I'm trying to keep up with them each day, but they're really like knocking it out of the park right now. They're like 6 days in, and there's just been so many good matches. Like it's crazy, and like watching New Japan right now is like you get spoiled, and then you try to watch WWE, and you're like, I can't watch this, man.
Right. I was looking at it last week. Watching what's our boy's name? Your dude, man. Dude of US champion.
Oh, Kenny Omega?
Yeah, I was watching him defend his belt against a Japanese cat, man. Japanese cat was a tough dude. You can tell he's a little older, but he was a tough dude. I can't think of dude's name, but it was a great fucking match.
Dude, Kenny Omega is such a great ring worker. Like when it's like a serious fight, when it's a big match, he can be really serious and everything. But in any other match, he can bring humor to it, and it's like, but he still keeps the ring work there. He's a master.
And that's how it was too.
He's such a master
like
at that. He's such a master at the little things in matches. Like he's literally like. He's arguably like the best wrestler of our generation right now, because he just does it so flawlessly and easily. It's like crazy.
Better than AJ.
To be honest, it's different. Like AJ is is just a great worker. Period. It can make anybody he fights look better. Kenny Omega is kind of the same way. But it's in a different way. He can bring those little aspects of Kenny Omega is really good at like continually like selling an injury, stuff like that. Like okay, if like this was something that people were like commenting about on one of the early G1 Climax matches, probably even the first one. He was selling a knee injury for, the second half of the match. And he would do stuff like he would try to like do like kind of like a springboard off the top rope, but he would botch it because he was selling the knee injury. And people on Twitter are like, "Oh, that was a botch. Oh, he messed up." No, he was not. That was not a botch. He was selling an injury. It's not a botch if you're selling an injury. And Kenny Omega is a master at doing that, is selling like injuries in the ring, like having a bad knee at the time or stuff like that.
Yeah, and then that's the type of shit that was going on in that match. You can see he was selling the injury.
Yeah, he sells injuries like better than anyone. He does. It's the little shit that he does that really he knows how to fill in those little gaps to really tell the story in the fight. In his match with when in his second match with Okada that went to a 60-minute draw, there was this time when Okada was going for his finisher, the Rainmaker, which is like a lariat clothesline that he kind of brings into you. And before he could clothesline, Kenny Omega just drops out of like exhaustion before he can do the clothesline. And that was like one of the best spots of the match because it told such a story about how much energy these guys have exhausted. And it's little shit like that Kenny Omega is just a master at. Like, so, would I say who's better, AJ Styles or Kenny Omega? To me, they're both like even right now, just for different reasons. They're both kind of like, they're both kind of on the same level, same sort of wrestler, same sort of athleticism and whatnot, but they do certain things differently to sort of, sell the match.
Bring out the best of the bring out the best of the opponent and
the story
to sell the match.
In the sell the match in total, yeah. So, like, if there was, if anytime soon that if there was could ever be an AJ Styles Kenny Omega match, like it would be like right now would be like one of the perfect times ever to have a Kenny Omega AJ Styles match if it could happen. And it would be like it would be amazing. It would be crazy.
You never know. His contract is ended in January.
Shit, never know. All right.
Never know.
Yep. All right, moving on into the world of MMA. This past weekend, Chris Weidman broke his three fight losing streak and was able to submit Kelvin Gastelum in the third round with an arm triangle choke. Dude, that was actually it was the whole match I was kind of cringing. I'm like, dude, if Weidman loses for a fourth straight time, dude, this is going to be hard for me to watch, Not that I'm like a huge like Chris Weidman fan or anything, but I just felt for him so much that like I was like, he needs this win, man. He needs to win here, like in his hometown. If like it would actually be heartbreaking to see him lose.
If Gastelum would have had 10 more seconds in that first round, we might be talking about something different now. But
yeah, man, he almost had him there, man.
Chris came back. He dealt with some adversity, and he won the fight. Good for him, but. My question is, during the post-fight interview, you make these comments, about Michael Bisping, and everybody know there's no way I'm a Michael Bisping supporter, in any shape, form. I don't know him personally, but just from the actions of him being champion and what he's done is pretty abysmal to the middleweight division. But even I have to look at Chris Weidman and be like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I'm the champion. Dude, you've lost 3 fucking fights in a row. You lost to Gegard, you lost to Yoel Romero, and who was the other dude he lost to?
He lost to
it was Gegard.
Oh, Luke Rockhold.
Gegard and Luke Rockhold. So you talk about 3 fucking fights in a row that you lost, but yet, and don't get me wrong, I would have understood you. I can understand every middleweight clowning Michael Bisping because of the climate that he's bringing aboard, the middleweight division. I totally get that. But for you to say some shit like, everybody knows I'm the champion.
Nah.
Dude.
You just won. You just won your first fight. In a very long time. So go sit down.
To quote Lauryn Hill, and not even I'll say this 3 times. You just lost one. You just lost one. You just lost one. So you lost 3 in a row. And then because you beat Kevin Gastelum and because you have some type of anger towards, Michael Bisping, that I'm the champion. Dog, I know that was some emotional shit to say, and I feel a certain way about Michael Bisping too.
Right.
But you are definitely not the champion. You have 2, 3 more fights before, hey, you know what? Let me get that title shot again. Right now, you're just a person that should be thankful that he has his first win out of 4 fights. You got 1 win. You should be happy because you easily could be on the 0-4 streak. So let's just take this fight with Kevin, which is a tough dude. Let's take this and be thankful. You could have thrown a lot of shit at Michael Bisping, but I think you dropped the ball by calling yourself the champion because you're not the champion, brother. I'm sorry, and I like you. I picked you to be Anderson Silva. You did that twice, but yeah, you're not the champion, boss. You're former champion, but you're definitely not the champion. I'm the champion. Everybody knows I'm the champion. No, you're not. No. That was some emotional, I get it. It was emotional, that was that moment. Everybody knows I'm the champion. That's when it got real quiet, huh? What? No. As much as I like Michael Bisping, I was like, well, Michael Bisping is, I had to grit my teeth. He's the champion. He's a champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that, but salute to him on breaking that streak. That's what it's all about, man. Get your confidence up, man. Get your confidence up.
Right, definitely. And this weekend is UFC 214, the long-anticipated rematch between Daniel Cormier and John Jones. Let's hope that nobody gets injured or misses weight or any other sort of circumstances from now until Saturday, so we can actually see this fight.
Come on, Kelly, you fucking up, man. Let's hope John Jones don't fuck up between now and Saturday. Let's say that. Hey, John, don't fuck this shit up. Don't fuck this up.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, man. Let's not fuck this up. But continue, Kelly. I'm sorry.
It's all right. All right. I mean, who do you got? Who do you got in this? What do you think is gonna happen?
Well, it's the moment of truth for both fighters. Every excuse that DC has, he can't. After Saturday, he won't be able to say or use those excuses. Do I think John Jones is a PED user? Possibly. Generally, where there's smoke, there's fire. Most dudes don't profess that they use. It's too much machismo involved with dudes.
Right.
Real dudes don't come out and tell you that they use dick pills.
Right. Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I use them all the time. Oh, yeah, I use dick pills. Like, you proudly, like you said that shit in public. Like, that's almost like, that's like Usher coming out talking about he got herpes. I mean, they're definitely, one is a disease and one is not, but there's certain things that dudes keep to themselves, man, and they don't want it public. And one of the things that we don't want public is, how we're able to get hard erections. Not me per se, but that's how John Jones basically put it out there. That's not something that you just talk about. That's not normal. So that's the first red flag right there. You want to use that.
It's like I understand with some people, like, owning your flaws from your past and making a joke about it or whatnot. But when it comes to that, and like he has those T-shirts about Coke and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it almost comes off as arrogant and not like
Yes.
humbling.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and that's what I don't like. It's not
And
from a
this is
humble place where he's making fun or it's not coming from like a good place or whatever, a rebuilding place or whatever. It comes off as arrogant, like and
Yep.
it's very.
Yeah, and that's the problem that I have, and that's why I started this conversation off as far as John Jones goes. That's why I started off like this, because I look at him and it's like, damn, dude, all the shit that you have been through, you still haven't learned your fucking lesson.
And it's like,
And
I understand, and like I understand if you want to like poke fun at your past or whatever, but there's times when I'm like, I don't know if he's actually poking fun or if he's
I think he'd be serious.
Or he's actually being, because he says like after he wins this fight, he's gonna have like the biggest after party ever.
Biggest party.
And
look,
he's gonna go somewhere where TMZ is not gonna be at. Like, are you being serious? Like,
look, and to say that shit, and then to say shit like, oh, so what? I beat you after 2 weeks of having coke. And, so what? I mean, it's like it's so nonchalant how he's acting, and that's not normal. That's not regretful. That's not, like, you can't get any sincerity out of what he's saying, which leads me to believe that he hasn't learned what humbleness is all about, what he should have.
Right.
Especially when you talk about you've, two of the biggest fights of all time, and you fuck it up. You just keep fucking up. And like for me, the strategy that I would have used, even if DC was talking all his shit about him, I just wouldn't have said nothing. I would have paid DC, compliments. I would have not necessarily, you pay a man, you give a man his just due when it's deserving.
Yeah.
But when I know that I've done shit in my life that, now you're talking about a person's character, and you're talking about, so you're looking at this person's character, and no matter how dope you may seem in the cage, man, the character overrides all that bullshit. It's hard for me to, Floyd Mayweather is hated more than John Jones.
Yeah.
And I think it should be the other way around. I think John Jones should probably be the most hated fighter in the world. He's cheated. I've talked to fighters that have taken a little hit of cocaine, before their fights, because they're getting hit in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Like I've had these conversations like, wow, I didn't know you guys do that. So where, you think about it, it's like, wow, I've really had these fucking. What's really real is I was having these cocaine discussions about John Jones, 2011, 2012. Having breakfast with a lot of well-known fighters.
Yeah.
And that just, I think I told you about that before it even popped off.
Yeah.
We would have these conversations, and, people know who I rock with, and, Mo's not the type of person to talk about stuff like that, but you can't help to be around it because that seemed like to be the topic of conversations. And when you're hearing dudes talk about dudes that you see on TV, and then you hear years later, you see years later that he's getting caught up. I was like, for me, it was like, wow, that shit is true. I heard about this shit years before.
Right.
When he got caught, it was like hits on Twitter from chicks like, wow, y'all just not finding that out, which leads me to believe that he had been doing this for a long time. He just got caught. And to not have any remorse, we talking about a guy that hit a woman, left the scene, came back to the scene, came and grabbed, miscellaneous items, what could be money or drugs or possibly both, and left the scene again of a pregnant woman at an accident with a broken arm. Like, I still think about that type shit. And to me, when I hear him have these interviews and I see him, talk and, or whatnot,
Yeah.
it's like, damn, dude, you still not fucking humble. So I don't know what type of PR team he has or if he has one, but they are not doing a good job, which it's leaning for me to root for DC again, because I think, John Jones is a light heavyweight, but if you see this dude in person, he should be a heavyweight, period.
Yeah.
He's a dude that cuts a lot of weight. Again, being around this stuff and seeing, not necessarily around it, but seeing or hearing these conversations that I have on how you see dudes cut weight, it wouldn't surprise me that he used that to cut weight, or he used that to not feel some pain. You taking shots to the head. And fighters do that shit. They'll deny it to the fullest, but they do that shit. So it's kind of hard for me to believe that a grown man would just submit and say, I've used dick pills. Like, that's the ego thing. We not go do that. Like... So I say that to say this. We're going to find out if John Jones is the real fighter that we've always seen, or we're going to see the man that looked like he was half the man against OSP.
Right.
Because going back to that OSP fight, you're like, wow, what the fuck happened to John Jones? There's a couple things I always said when you talking about John Jones. John Jones looks great against smaller fighters. He's always going to be the bigger fighter unless he fights people his size and his reach, similar to Alexander Gustafsson and what OSP offer. Even though OSP is not as good as John Jones, he still was his height and he was lanky like John Jones. He has trouble against fighters his own size. He dominates the smaller fighters if you ever looked at his fight. So he's supposed to win if you think about it. When you talk about a dude 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", with the reach that he has, the other attributes that he has, and you're fighting dudes that's barely 6 feet, you're supposed to win these fights. So we're going to find out. We're just going to find out Saturday, if it was real or if it was bullshit. We'll be able to find out. We'll find out within the first 2-3 rounds if John Jones is the John Jones that we know, or if he was the fraud that, been using PEDs, a good portion of his career. Because DC believes that, that DC believes that John Jones been using, PEDs. And right now, it's kind of hard to dispute that, especially when you've been popped for certain drugs that we know rejumps your system after taking steroids.
Yeah.
So, we'll find out. All in all, I want to see John Jones win. But it's hard to co-sign a dude when he constantly fucking up.
Right.
That's just real. So, and I'm not even sit up here, I watched DC when didn't nobody knows who DC was. DC had 3-4 fights when he was on Strikeforce undercard, and I was there in Cincinnati when didn't nobody know who he was when he knocked out Bigfoot Silver. I met that dude. I was there to see Mo against Roger Gracie, and I met that dude. Nobody knew who he was. Just walking past him. I went up to him. I was like, congrats, man. I remember you wrestling at Oklahoma State and being an Olympic alternate in wrestling because I wrestled. But I didn't know that he was a fighter. You know, Mo is the one that got DC into mixed martial arts. You know, he was, you know, DC didn't know what he was going to do after his Olympics career was over. Mo the one that suggested, hey, man, you should try fighting. So they came up in this sport together.
Yeah.
And to see where he's at now on top of the world, you know, sometimes I wish DC would chill out too. Because that dude that I met that night is not the dude that I see now. The dude that I see now is, you know, I'm not going to say he's cocky or anything like that, but, you know, his humble level, you know, although him and John Jones are completely different, you know, I can't say that his humility is that great, because the dude that I met at that Bigfoot fight was a humble dude that was happy that anybody recognized him. Now he's a champ, and
he always got jokes.
It's a little different now, but I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. I want to see him win. I want to see John Jones win, but I want him to do it the right way, man. I ain't say take no shit off nobody, but you know, when you're him, he will never ever have room for error. So how you defeat that is not even feed into bullshit. And he feeds into the bullshit, which allows him to talk a lot of cocky and arrogant bullshit, to where people like me will look at him like, you still haven't learned yet. So, you know, let's hope we see a good fight, and may the best man win.
Right. And also on UFC 214, we got a couple other title matches. We have our homegirl Chris Cyborg going against Tanya Evinger for the featherweight women's title that was vacated when they took it away from Jermaine Durandamy. Then you also have Tyron
You
Woodley.
talking about when she was scared to fight Chris Cyborg?
Dude. Yeah. I want to bring something up in a minute here, but also, like, you have Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia for the welterweight title bout. We got a couple championship bouts. Going back to Cyborg, you know, the funny thing is that
we got Cerrone against Robbie Lawler too now.
Oh yeah, we got Cerrone and Robbie Lawler, and then we also have Jimmy Manuwa versus Volkan Ozdemir also. So we got some.
That's a hell of a card.
It's a hell of a card. Yeah, man. We got a lot of good fights coming up. Know what's crazy about the whole Cyborg situation? This week on the this Monday on the MMA Hour, Ariel Helwani interviewed Jermaine Durandamy, and she was talking about. Now, can you decipher this? She said that the plan all along was she was going to do the fight with Holly Holm for the 145 featherweight title belt, you know, to crown whoever the first one is. And then she literally said that after that fight, she was going to go back down to 135. What kind of a plan?
Who does that?
What kind of plan? Yeah, who does that? Like, the plan, she's saying that all along the plan was to do the 145 fight, but then go directly to 135 afterwards. And I'm like, huh?
Well, you know, when I hear shit like that and it be so obvious, certain memes come to my face or come to my head, like the dude looking at it and he's smirking his lips up with the big ass diamond earring stud. He looking the little. I don't know if you've seen the meme with the black dude. He just looking and he got the you full of shit look in his face.
Yeah.
Or the other one, the song that come is, ooh, you girl, you know you lying, always lying. Yeah, that's what I think about when I hear that type shit, because who fucking becomes champion just to say, hey, I'm going to get this shit up and go back down 10 pounds?
I felt like this whole interview that she was doing was like a big just cop-out to, to not fight Cyborg. Because she kept on saying how fighting is just a hobby. It isn't her full-time job, because she's a full-time cop back in her homeland in Holland. She's a police officer. and that fighting is just a hobby and it's not her full-time thing, so she can't train all the time. And and before that,
she trained for Holly Holm though, right?
but it was like the interview was so confusing. I'm like, then why did you do all of this? If you just wanted to fight, then just fight. But don't agree for a title that you're not going to defend. Like, it was the most confusing interview. I was just like, huh?
That's called that's that Chris Cyborg-itis.
Like,
you get that Chris Cyborg-itis. Motherfuckers don't be wanting that problem until that problem is in front of them. Then they're like, wait a minute, hold up. Let me go right on over there and I'll chill. We'll come back and talk about this 100 years from now. But
and Jermaine Durandamy was somebody that a lot of people at one time were respecting her, and were thinking that she could possibly be the person who beat Cyborg. And
I never thought that. I don't think nobody out there can smash my girl Chris.
But people actually had faith in her though, and she didn't come through with it, and she keeps on saying like, oh, my team, we talked it over about the whole past PD steroid use and blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, come on, like,
yeah, that's some bullshit.
Like,
that's some straight bullshit.
Like, but I'm glad that finally Chris Cyborg gets the chance to finally get the title that was made for her. And
I want to say this shit before Bruce Buffer get an opportunity to. And new featherweight champion of the motherfucking world. Chris Cyborg, man. Yeah, that has a great ring to it.
Right.
It really, to me, it sucks that she had to go through all this shit for years just to get that love now. Just because they love Money Train couldn't, produce what they thought she could produce. So now you want to give it to the person that who can produce. So, fuck you, Ronda Rousey. Fuck you for cheating all of us.
So, what do you think is going to happen in this Tyron Woodley-Damian Maia fight? You think? That's
an interesting fight.
Yeah.
I think Tyron is going to do the right thing and not go to the ground with this guy. I think Damian is going to try to trap him a lot.
Yeah.
But the goal for Tyron is keep your distance, use your jab, use your kicks. Don't grapple with this dude. I don't care how cocky you are with your wrestling.
Damian Maia has a way of, like, if he can touch you, he'll get his whole body on you.
And then he's like a fucking snake.
Right. I don't know how he does it, man, but if he can touch you, next thing you know, he's all around you.
When Mo fought Roger Gracie, and if you know anything about jiu-jitsu, Roger Gracie is arguably the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioner of all time. He just won his last fight, I believe, either on Saturday or Sunday, and he beat another 10-time world champion in jiu-jitsu, and he choked him out. As high-caliber wrestler Mo is, being an Olympic alternate for the Olympic team, my biggest concern was, dude, I know your wrestling is excellent. I'm talking about we didn't have to worry about that shit at all.
Right.
But are you going to try to take this dude to the ground? And Mo looked at me and was like, well, why the fuck would I do that? I mean, it's like you talking about a dude that's cocky about his shit that he feel like he can take anybody to the ground.
Right.
Why the fuck would you go on the ground with a a dude that of that caliber.
Right.
Damian Maya is bit from the same cloth. So if he gets any piece of Tyron Woodley has a history of gassing.
Right.
In the third, fourth round, he gasses. If Maya gets him, Maya gonna choke him the fuck out. And I want to see, not no distance to Tyron Woodley, but I kind of want to see Damian Maya win, man, because he an OG.
Right.
And this might be his last opportunity to even get that. So I kind of want to see one of them stories, man, to where you can smile about it.
Yeah, man. Damian Maya has been he's been waiting for this shot for so long. He's been choking motherfuckers out. He's been upstage. They've been passing him over so many times for this shot that I'm glad he finally gets it. But like this could be his only shot.
Think about the fight he had against Anderson Silva, when people called that possibly the worst MMA fight of all time.
Right.
Think about that. To go from that to come to this and win, that's a fucking movie. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fucking movie.
Fucking movie.
So I kind of want to see Damian Maya win, man. I think it'd be cool for the sport.
Definitely.
And as far as Robbie Lawler and Donald Cerrone, I like both of them dudes, but I rock with Robbie Lawler. Always have, always will. And I rock with Cowboy Cerrone, too. I can't front. I'm a fan of both of them dudes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's just see where it goes, man. Let's see where it goes. So right now, early-wise, I'm going to pick Robbie Lawler.
Yeah. Now, this Jimmy Manuwa Volkan Ozdemir match, do you think this could be like whoever wins this match gets whoever wins between Cormier and Jones?
That's a possibility, but not necessarily, because I think Jimmy Manuwa should have to fight Alexander Gustafsson. I think Alexander Gustafsson is the real number one contender.
Yeah, I would agree with that also. Yeah.
Definitely. That dude, you talking about quality opponents, razor sharp losses. I'm talking about like very close contested fights against the former champion and champion. Convincing wins. His only flaw was the Rumble fight, and it's no shame that getting knocked out by Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Right.
So I would have to say that you go with him as the number one contender, and I would like to see him get the next shot.
Definitely. I would definitely be for Alexander Gustafsson to at least get the next shot or have to fight the winner of Manuwa and Ozdemir.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. I don't think he should be passed over.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, 214 probably the strongest card of the year for the UFC. Hopefully nothing goes down for the rest of the week, and what's planned for right now comes to fruition, and we have a very exciting card come Saturday, and we'll see. Maybe we'll see we'll definitely see a new champion in the women's featherweight, but maybe we'll see some new champions, or we'll see some champions defending their belts come this Saturday.
Indeed. And don't fuck this up again, John Jones. Please don't fuck it up.
All right, I think that's it for this week's Fresh is the Word. Vstylez, where can people find you online?
Okay, you find me online at the Twitter, at the Instagram, and at the regular Facebook at /Vstylez. That'll be VSTYLEZ. And if you want to hit me at my official verified page on Facebook, hit me at official Vstylez. That's /official VSTYLEZ.
Word up, word up, word up. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye and good night.
Peace.
Fresh is the word.